Garrett Shrader joins us from beautiful Syracuse, New York. Garrett, appreciate the time as always. Congratulations on the quick start from an individual perspective and the fact the team's got a 0 in the loss column. I know that's exactly how you guys want to get started. So far, so good, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Yeah, love being 3-0, undefeated so far. We've got a new one this week, a new challenge, a great opportunity. So we're excited.
All right. Before we do a deep dive on this, I've been bragging about you on Monday's show, Tuesday's show, and I was thrilled that we had you lined up for today because I must have watched on a loop the ball fakes that you pulled on poor Purdue. I bet I've watched it 100 times, and that's probably a low number. I know how much work has to go into it, but my God, man, dude, you have got this thing down to a science. How much time have you spent working on that, and kind of walk us through what you do to perfect it?
Well, I mean, it started in high school. You know, I love watching some of the best NFL guys, but Aaron Rodgers is that's the guy who I got it from. And just over the years, doing it on outside zone stuff, it always worked for us in high school. And then we have a big goal line package, so I took the opportunity, saw everybody tucked inside the box to go ahead and take it. And it's not a cold play, so it was, but it was fun to see it work how it did.
So how much time do you spend on this? I mean, you mentioned watching Aaron Rodgers. Again, I think of guys like Peyton Manning, who was great at it. It really is kind of an artistry, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those kind of things that with footwork, ball placement, a lot of folks probably don't think about that. They think about quarterback and just look at stats, but the little things really do make a difference, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that I noticed watching those guys is that they make it look uniform every single time. So whether they hand the ball or they're keeping it, I mean, you can't tell the difference. So that was the biggest thing, and just having an opportunity, and there's a time and place to do it. So, but yeah, it's definitely fun to see it work how it did.
When you guys were watching tape of the Purdue game, what's it like when you're sitting there in the team, whether it be the quarterback room, the whole team watching the replay of the game? Because you basically fooled everybody and their brother on that last one in particular. And then you were smart enough to take a knee and go, hey, you could have scored, I think. But you said, no, man, win the game. Let's get out of here. But what's it like when you're sitting around with your peers in that locker room and you're watching that kind of performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting. It's funny to hear when you get back to the sideline immediately. And because even then they're looking for the ball and they're like, they see LeQuint and they thought he fumbled, so they're looking for the ball, but then they realized that I was down the field. So just hearing them talk about it on the bus and the plane right after, that's what gets me.
And you don't have to divulge this because this will be insider information, but do you have the ability to pull that off even though it's not the call?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of freedom in our run game, and you know, Coach Beck has a lot of trust in me, and I know the time and place, and I mean, even a couple of times that I pulled the ball in this past week's game, it's never really a design. It's just if you have a feel for space and if there's a time and place, if the guys are in the box, you know, especially on the short yardage stuff and heavy run periods, like the 4-man offense stuff. But I mean, people would definitely expect just you to run the ball up the middle and try to get a yard or two. So I'm definitely keying in for the looks on those plays.
You know, we have seen you guys get off to great starts in September. You've won 9 consecutive games in September. What feels different, though, about this Syracuse team than maybe teams in the past?
I mean, we're deeper than we've been since I've been here. We got more talent. Our defense is steady, and the stuff Coach Long's doing, and the special teams the way they've come a long way since I've been here. And behind Coach Lake, and then obviously the offense, it's just another year. And we've had a bunch of young guys, and now we're starting to get older. So all those things combined, and now the most important thing for us is to stay healthy. And we're already kind of having the injury bug, so just continue to make sure we're having guys healthy, taking care of our bodies. And we got a nutritionist, so she's been taking care of us, and our strength staff, and then our medical staff. So all of those things combined. And then having the next man up, and we're deep, and we got a lot of guys that can run, and a lot of offensive linemen that can go out and perform, and a lot of guys getting their first starts that we've had playing for us, and they're doing a great job. So we just got to keep that mentality, and whatever we need to do to win, no matter if it's throwing the ball or running the ball, and we just got to make sure we're executing.
Yeah, we had Gadsden on the show probably about a month or so ago, and I know you hate for anybody to get hurt, but man, what a great weapon! He can be anywhere on the field, tight end, wide receiver, the leadership. But you mentioned that next man up mentality. I guess you're really starting to see that as well as far as your playmakers are concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got a lot of faith and confidence in all the guys that we have in our room. And hate losing a guy like OG, who's the most consistent and just the guy that I have the most chemistry with. But the exciting thing that we have to look forward to is the guys behind him. They probably have bigger playmaking ability than he does. Now it's just the consistency is the thing that we're trying to get dialed in with. So just work on that throughout the week and make sure we're ready to go for Saturday.
I know that it's all about the W. This is a great quarterback league. Do you ever get the feeling that, you know what, you don't get recognized enough for what you've accomplished in a league that's, like I said, is so deep with really, really big-time quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, I don't play for the praise of man, and glad I put my faith in Jesus. That's where my identity is. And but there are a lot of good quarterbacks, and my biggest thing is what the guys in my room in this facility they think about me and how I can get us to win. That's the most important thing to me. But I don't put my identity in what people say about me outside of our facility and our room and our coaches.
Do you think that Syracuse as a team made a statement with what you did on the road, prime time against Big Ten Purdue? And again, I know you beat them a year ago in a thriller in the Dome, but to do it on the road, under the lights, people starting to pay attention with a quick start. Do you think you guys made a statement?
I mean, it was a good win, and it was a hostile environment. It was fun to play in, and they had a full house. So you always love the first outdoor road game, especially when it's got good weather. So that was exciting, but I mean, it's just another game. So we got a new one this week. We got to go out and play, and we got a whole conference scheduled in front of us. So, I mean, we're taking it 1 week at a time. So we're not really worried about the early stuff, but we got Army this week, and they're a challenge in themselves. So that's what we're looking at now.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go with you. I mean, Jeff Monken's done such a great job, and when you take on a military outlet, again, Army, Navy, Air Force. It's a different mentality, right? I mean, there's the respect factor for what those guys are going through, serving the country and playing a game that they love. But you also know they're not going to quit. There's going to be a toughness regardless of what that scoreboard says. What has Dino Babers told you guys this week as far as preparation and taking on a service academy?
I mean, first and foremost, we have a huge and tremendous respect for what those guys are doing and just knowing what it takes to get into those academies and then the load that they're carrying. And but it's awesome to see. I mean, they got some good football players as well, regardless of for being where they are. They got some dudes who can play, some talented guys. So, no, we have respect for what they're doing, and they are a disciplined team and they play hard. A lot of high motor guys, and that's what makes them tough to play against. And not only their scheme, but I mean, they do a lot of different things too. So it'll be a challenge, and we're making sure we're studying and preparing. Now, I think we're a little more talented across the board, but at the end of the day, if you don't show up ready to play, I mean, those guys, they got a good squad.
Yeah, they'll get you. By the way, practice has got to be fun, right? This defense you mentioned is getting after people and guys that can run, that can hit. I always think of Dino Babers' teams as being offensive-minded, but the defense really has rounded into shape. And, again, I know sometimes numbers lie, but you look at the statistics, offense, defense, you guys are sitting in the top 20 on both sides. What can you tell us about this defensive team that grabs their attention in terms of people say, Syracuse, whatever. You're sitting there going, no, wrong. This Syracuse team is different. Tell me why defensively this team is different than they were the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the scheme. It starts with the scheme that they run, and it's tough when we play against them all camp, I mean, they got after us early and often, and towards the end of camp, we were starting to connect on them and really tear them up. But, I mean, it's hard to play against those guys and only have 1 week to prepare for them. And just the amount of movement they have and how deep we are at the linebacking group and then the DBs as well. And they can play man-to-man. They have good things that complement them and change up. And those guys play as a unit, and they swarm the ball, and that's why they get so many turnovers. And they do a great job.
By the way, I know at some point in time we will make a road trip to Syracuse. Whether it be the Huddle PM show, combination thereof. I want to get up with you to work on that ball fake, because I'm telling you, I have been enamored with what you pulled off against Purdue. And I know you still got that in the arsenal. You got some other ones up your sleeve too. But is there a way to get like 5 minutes with you and say, Pack, let me explain to you how this thing works, just some of the details, because it really is beautiful to watch.
We could do it. I think I can do it in about 2. It's not terribly difficult. You just gotta make sure you marry it up.
You are underselling how good that is, dude. I mean, I was talking to Luganville yesterday. I was like, watch the way Garrett Shrader's head. I mean, you have synced the head movement, the eye. You fake people out with the eyes. You got the ball on the other side. I mean, you have really mastered this skill. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
All right. Well, listen, I know you got to get to work. Good luck this week with Army. I know you got Clemson high noon the next week in the Loud House. It's all about Army, though, this week. Stay healthy. Tell Dino Babers we said hello as well.
Yes, sir, will do.